Hey, so today we're looking at 7 different ways that people are wasting money without actually knowing that they're doing these different things. And this happens to a good majority of people. They don't realize these different mistakes or ways that they're leaving money on the table. So hopefully this video can help you out. If you find it helpful, don't forget to drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and let's get started. Now, the first way that people are leaving money on the table or even wasting money is by using a traditional bank. Now, most banks with a lot of branch locations, say Bank of America or Wells Fargo, if you have a savings account with them, they're probably paying you about 0.1% or less for most of these bank accounts, where you could be using online bank accounts such as the ones with Discover or with Barclays or with American Express bank accounts, not credit cards, savings accounts that you can get with these companies that are giving you 2% annual rates or more on your money. Now, the 2% versus essentially 0% at the traditional banks, that's a pretty big difference. If you have $30,000 in your account, that's an extra $600 per year from your savings account that you can get from these different providers. So I'm gonna leave some links for those down below if you're interested in just checking out those different bank accounts, like Barclays giving you 2.2% annual rates, or Discover giving you about 2% rates with much lower fees and a very low account opening cost. So it doesn't cost you anything, but the amount of money that you'd have to open that account might be $100 with very minimal fees. So it's something you might want to check out, but I think people are really leaving money on the table, especially if they have, say, $100,000 in their savings account at good old bank account down the road from them. That can really be losing them a lot of money. They could be missing out on thousands of dollars per year by not putting it into a savings account or a money market account that essentially has the same effect, and it's still the same amount of security, but it's just online or through some other provider that's giving you a better return on your investment and kind of keeping up with inflation. Something else that can leave hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the table is by using the wrong credit cards. Now, look, if you don't use a credit card, that's totally okay. But if you're like most Americans and most people in the world, you probably have some credit cards. But it's interesting to see so many people who are using credit cards that have no cashback rewards, that have no rewards whatsoever. They're missing out on hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year. For example, if I spend $20,000 on my credit cards, I'm gonna get at least 1.5% cash back on everything that I buy. That's $300 extra in my pocket just by using these specific credit cards. And you can even mix and match these different credit cards. So some might give you 3% cash back on gas purchases, while others might give you 2 or 3 or 4% on grocery purchases. So you can even alternate different credit cards for different purchases to really kind of hack that ability to get the most rewards from your credit cards. I think people are missing out on that. Now, if you don't use credit cards, that's okay. You don't have to. But if you're already using them, you want to consider getting those that have the better rewards. So the next one is by not hacking your income taxes. Now, most people don't like to think about taxes, tax day. It's not very fun. But there's people who will pay for, say, an accountant for, say, $500, maybe more, maybe less, depending on where you live and who they are. But you can pay maybe $500 for an accountant who might then save you $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 on your tax bill, because they're able to help you not only in your current state by saving money, by writing things off on your taxes, by finding different areas in which you can apply for different government grants and tax breaks, but they can help you for the future, plan for the future, so that you can pay less money in taxes over your lifetime. So I think you want to really kind of view an accountant kind of as an investment, and you can get a positive return on your investment. I know people personally who say, Nate, look, I paid for an accountant and they saved me $4,000. They saved me $3,500 for these different things because they thought of things that I never had imagined. I didn't know you could do this with your account and withdraw from your IRAs and put it into, like, there's a lot of different things that you can do behind that most people don't really realize. We don't realize that because accountants or financial advisors will spend a lot of time in school and throughout their lives learning these different, I don't want to say loopholes, but ways that you can pay less money in taxes overall and save money. So kind of view paying accountants and paying people to do your taxes almost as an investment, and decide for yourself whether or not it's going to be a positive return on investment. If you're at a low income right now, maybe that's not always the best option. Maybe you can do it yourself or use something like TurboTax. But if you have a high income, maybe consider making that investment into somebody who is very professional and capable of saving you thousands of dollars on your taxes. So the next way that people are wasting money without realizing it, this is probably the most important part of this video right here. People don't factor time into the equation as much as they factor money into the equation, whether they're talking about their personal life or their business. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me give you an example here. So say that you have two options of getting to your destination, right? And one option is to take an Uber for $8, and the other option is to take a bus for $2. Now the bus is cheaper, but the bus takes an extra hour to get there. Maybe it goes all the way around the city and then goes in to your destination, but the Uber gets there an hour earlier. So $8 versus $2, a $6 difference. You have to ask yourself, is your life worth $6 an hour? And for me personally, I like to think that my life is worth a little bit more than $6 an hour, and so I would probably take the Uber. And maybe that sounds a little bit weird to you because you say, Nate, this video is all about saving money and not wasting money. You're telling me to spend more money, but think about what you could do in that extra hour of time getting to your destination an hour earlier. You could probably make more money. You can make $20 an hour or $100 an hour or more by doing that. And so think about time as much as you think about money. This goes with businesses as well. If you're trying to run a business and maybe you have a product that you can do a 500% return on, but it takes 8 months to sell, versus maybe a product that only gets a 20% return on your investment, but you can sell it in 5 days, so you can have a much faster turnover. You want to think about time as much as you're thinking about money. That is the most important part of this video that I think will help you throughout any part in your life thinking about that. So if you're like me and you like to eat food pretty much every hour throughout your day, this next tip might help you out. And this is something that has saved me a lot of money in the past, and that is by essentially keeping food on you at all times, or at least having food in your car, having food in your office, having food in your backpack, so that you're prepared, so that when you get hungry, like me, every hour, and you start to think about food that you need, and it's a distraction because you can't work because you're thinking about food and you're thinking about Subway or Dairy Queen or Chick-fil-A. Well, if you have food on hand at all times, maybe you have a box of granola bars in your car, then you don't have to stop at Chick-fil-A. You can just eat a granola bar and save a lot of money because you're not spending $5 or $10 or $15 eating out all the time. And I've spent $30 or $40 or $50 per day eating 2 to 3 meals a day out at Subway and other places, because you get hungry, and if you don't pack food and you don't think about it, then you can really be missing out on a lot of money, really wasting a lot of money. So another way that people are wasting money is by not returning items that don't fit properly or work properly. Now this is something that I have been a culprit of myself, where you might order something on Amazon, maybe some shoes cost say $90 for some shoes, and they show up, they don't fit really correctly, they don't fit perfectly. You set them to the side, and then you say, you know what, I'm going to return those when I get around to it. And then the next thing you know, it's 3 months later, you still have these shoes, you're not going to wear them, and you basically just pissed money down the drain. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. Just as soon as you get them, as soon as you realize that it's not working properly, it's not up to par, or it doesn't fit properly, just return it right away. Don't do it after lunch, don't do it the next day, just do it right away. It's going to save you money, and you won't end up in the position that I ended up in when I bought a laptop, $1,800, and it had some issues. I was gonna return it, and then the next thing you know, it's past the warranty, and I basically screwed myself over. So take advantage of those warranties as well. I've mentioned that in a video in the past though. And one of the biggest ways that people are wasting money is by buying name brand foods that don't have any better effect or better taste than traditional cheaper brand products. So for example, let's just take San Pellegrino and Walmart brand seltzer. Now, I personally don't taste a big difference. If you put two in a glass and put them next to each other, I personally wouldn't know the difference, but one of them is probably 3 times the price of the other one. So you want to decide for yourself whether or not that's going to be worth it for you, but if you're getting the same effect from it, then you want to think about buying those things that are going to give you that same effect for a much cheaper price, because food is one of our largest expenses in life. And we always talk on this channel about ways that you can put your money into certain assets that don't devalue or depreciate. Well, food, if you buy something for $5 and you eat it, 10 minutes later, that $5, you basically could have just eaten that $5 bill, because that's the effect that you're going to have on your wallet. You're not getting that money back ever again. And that's why you want to think about paying less money for your food without making unhealthy choices. Don't make unhealthy choices. That's pretty stupid. That's this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, but make sure you drop a like.